Welcome to the Design School, Understanding Adobe Illustrator, Part 4. You'll remember last time we talked about joining two open-ended paths, copying and pasting in front, sending objects to front and back, using the Reflect tool, using the Pathfinder functions, and turning paths to shapes. Today we're going to be talking about masking, transparency, and blend modes. Now that we know how to use the pen tool, one of the most versatile functions we can do in Illustrator is create a mask. Masks can be very useful because they help us isolate and let us show just the portions that we want to show. I'm going to show you an example of a mask by creating one. First, I will place a photograph on the stage. And this looks fine, but if we put a colored background behind it, we'll realize right away that there's a white box sitting around our object that we don't really want to be there. I'm going to select my background and make it green so that I can show you something about blend modes. Blend modes come under the transparency menu. And blend modes can sometimes help. Right here you'll see all the blend modes that I can use. I have to grab the graphic that I imported, and my goal is to get rid of that white box. I can change the blend mode so that it will darken only. That means only pixels that are darker than the green background are going to show up. Well, that kind of works. It gets rid of the white box around the ice cream cone, except that it also gets rid of the white portions of the ice cream itself. So in order to mask this out and make it a more usable mask, we're going to have to create a mask using vectors. So with my graphic still selected, I'm going to go back to normal blend mode, and I still have the white box, but it restored the white colors in my ice cream cone. To create my vector mask, I'm going to take the pen tool and just start creating a mask the shape of this ice cream cone. I'm pulling out handles in order to control the shape of my mask, and I'm just going to trace along the edge of my image. Remember how to use the pen tool, the efficient way to place control points so that your paths do what you want them to do. In fact, I will go in later and edit this path. You'll notice it's filling with the last color I used as the default. So it's filling with green, and in some cases I won't be able to see what I'm doing. So I can actually go into my transparency and give it a transparency of about, 50%. And now I can see the work that I'm doing underneath, and I can still see my template. To complete my mask, I select the path I just created, and I select the photo by holding down Command, Shift, and multiple selecting, and then I go to Object, Clipping Mask, and Make. Now if I zoom in, I can see the adjustments I need to make to my mask. I grab the Direct Select tool, the white arrow, and I just start moving points around until they fit my image tightly. If I need to add points, I can do that. I can be quite precise using this technique. I can pull out if I sense there's more photo in the background. So I want to keep going along here. Every now and then I'll pull out to see if I'm missing some of the photo, which I was in that case. So I've got that side completed now, and it's pretty close, pretty nice. I'm going to continue on with the other side, and we'll pick up when I'm done. So I finished up the perimeter of the cone, and you can see I have a path going all the way around. The nature of a mask is that once a path is turned into a mask, it loses all fill attributes and all stroke attributes. So if I wanted to outline this ice cream cone in a black stroke, I would have to copy the path like this. You see I have an extra path on the stage here. I'm going to grab it, and I'm going to give it a stroke value of, say, let's go 2. That's fine. And so now I can drag that back over. I can snap 2 right onto my image. And so if I wanted an outline, I could give it a nice stroke. I'm going to actually bump that up a bit. Now I'm going to select, copy, and paste. Use the direct select tool, selecting just the image, and hit the delete key. You can see that I have an extra mask here. So I'm going to grab it and turn my colors back on, give it a fill. There we go. And I'm going to place it behind, and I'm going to send this behind that. And now I have a shadow, although it doesn't look quite convincing as a shadow yet, so I'm going to do one final touch here. I'm going to add some transparency to that. Now I want to create a background shape that's a little fancier than our oval that we have here, and I'm going to hold down Shift and pull out a star. I have a 5-pointed star. Hold down Option and click on the stage. I can enter that I want 3 points instead of 5 points, and it gives me a triangle. And so I'm going to take this triangle now, and I'm going to select it, and just having it selected, I can grab a handle on the side and I can elongate the triangle, and I can elongate it further vertically. Take one of these. That's probably about right. So I've got the rotate tool selected. I'm going to hover over my center point. This is where I want the rotation to occur from, and hit Option and click. I get the dialog box which lets me enter 17 degrees, and I want it to be a copy, and so I'm going to click OK. Now if I want to repeat that action, I can hit Command D, and I'm actually continuing on with the first action I took, only 17 degrees further each time. With the preview turned off, I can easily see my wireframes, and I can do a marquee selection around the center of these spokes to grab each one, turn the color back on, and I'm going to group these, Command G. And now I can move them around without fear of losing one of them. The next thing I want to do is scale them a bit. I'm going to hold down the Shift key, grab this corner, scale. I can also align if I grab my green oval and my series of spokes. I can hit my align vertical and my align horizontal. I have to bring the green oval in front. Now I'm going to select both. Object, clipping mask, make. And I can send this whole piece to back now. And I can play with its transparency too if I want. There are a couple key factors to remember while you're making your mask. One is that the item being masked needs to be in back, and the item that is the mask needs to be in front. So if I'm going to have a shape be my mask, I'm going to put it in front of the items that I want to mask, like this. The second thing to remember is the mask and the objects being masked need to be all selected first. Then you go to Object, Clipping Mask, and Make. So let's recap what we've learned about blend modes, transparency, and creating masks. We've learned how to place photos in Illustrator. We've learned how to create masks with the pen tool, how to edit masks, moving and adding points. We've learned how to create a triangle with the star tool. We learned how to rotate objects incrementally. And we've learned how to use blend modes and transparency. Until next time, practice importing photos and creating masks, arranging items from front to back, applying transparency and blend modes, and rotating objects in multiple steps. We'll see you next time at the Design School.